Hi there, today I'm thinking about steampunk. Tammy at Peacecraft Dolls hosts a monthly doll challenge, and this time our challenge is to create something steampunk themed. I think of it as an alternate reality set in the Victorian era, where machines are steam powered. I've done some sketches of elements I want to include and will make a lady's outfit. In order to introduce yet more doll types to my channel, I'll be dressing my curvy made-to-move Barbie. I don't have many patterns made for her yet, so I layer masking tape over cling film and draw my pattern lines to create a drape pattern, which can be transferred to paper. I used this one to make leggings. I did this for the bust too and used the measurements to make an underbust corset and peasant top. I used shirring elastic to gather the hems, and here she is trying them on for size. She's wearing these boots I made just now, but these black ones might be better suited. They need more texture to them though. For now, I'll make up the corset. I glue the sections first from back, using strips of cotton to join them. Then I glue these stitched straps to the front side. Time for a test fit, and she's looking good. I just need to decide on the straps and add eyelets to the back, like this. I've also added studs for decoration too. My steampunk vision is more grimy and weathered though, so it's time to add paint. There we go. I've painted it with dark brown and black acrylic paint, emphasising edges and toning down the studs. I've used my acrylic paint markers to add more oomph to those plastic black boots too. I drew on and rubbed with my finger to give it a more lived-in look. Much better. Next up is the skirt from my sketches. I'm combining the style of two that I own and love and have made a mock-up in white cotton. It came out just as I hoped, so let's make the real thing now. I start with a patterned cotton curved waistband, turning it right side out. I check it, then press it flat. I stitch up where I turned it through and then carefully unpick the bottom hem. This is where the skirt will be inserted. The skirt will be made from this crinkled fabric. It's cut into 4 rectangles. Here's my working out if you want to try this. Measure the doll's waist and divide that by 4. Decide on your desired hem lengths. The shortest here. The longest is this part before it's gathered. Add your measurements as shown to give the rectangle dimensions. A long hem plus a quarter of the waist plus a long hem again equals your long side. The short hem is the width of your rectangle, adding about 5mm for seam allowance. Now we join them in pairs, sewing together the long hem measurement on each side. I mark 8 centimeters along, then sew from the edge to my mark. Now repeat again on the other edge. Marking 8 centimeters in from the edge, like so. I'll pin the last rectangle in place on both sides here to show that we end up with a square space in the middle. That is the waistband. Here it's all sewn and I'll press open the seams. If you wanted an elasticated waistband, you would make the waist measurement larger, enough to pass the hips, then stretch and sew your elastic around this waistband to gather it up. I'll be making a facing piece to fasten my skirt though. I grab a scrap of fabric and pin to the right side centre of one of my panels. I'm using a friction erasable pen which vanishes when heated. I mark 2 long lines in the centre, joined at the bottom like a long U, and then I sew along this line before cutting down the middle space, allowing me to turn the facing through. I trim away the excess and I'll press the opening flat. Now the opening is lined up with my waistband and pinned before being hand stitched into place. My skirt could be finished here, but I want to add gathers as well. I use a ruler along each of the 4 seams and mark where my running stitch will go. This will pull up the hem a little, and I tie the thread on the underside. I love the extra draping this creates. Now the construction's finished, I just need to add a snap and also spray it with water. I'll scrunch it and set it in place so it'll sit just right once it dries. I also want a raw looking hem on this skirt, so I pull away the threads at the edges. Now, there are too many separate pieces to fully document making in one video, so here's a couple of leather pouches I made, some goggles and a top hat too. I'll be painting all the accessories just like the corset. Here the hat has fabric glued to the underside and the goggles have been painted. I've also rummaged out the most steampunky findings I have on hand, I didn't take the watch apart though. I tested out a method of dyeing fabric using tea, first on my mock-up skirt, then on the peasant top. I was really pleased with the result, and I would like to try an ombre effect on a skirt or dress next. Off camera, I used UV resin to add lenses to the goggles, which looks so good! Then I added some studs and findings to the goggles and hat. Here I'm painting them to blend them in. I also made a pouch to wear on her thigh, and a shoulder bag from the other two pouches with a decorative chain strap, and a pair of fingerless gloves too. I was really having so much fun with this one, can you tell? It was finally time to get her dressed up with all the pieces together. I had put elastic on the goggles and hat so they can be worn both individually and stacked as in my concept sketch. Wow, my very own steampunk Barbie. I can't help smiling every time I see her. I'm so happy with the way all the leather and metal elements work together. The little lenses in the goggles, the pouches and the chain on the bag. I love it all. If I were to be very critical, I would say the corset is a little too long. It could have been a bit lower at the top, but honestly, everything else just came out as I wanted. I had thought we might 3D print the goggles, but I made them from cardstock and it worked great. Please let me know what you think of my steampunk outfit in the comments. Have you joined in with Tammy's doll challenge? Click on the hashtag #DollChallengeSteampunk in the title or the description, and you'll see a list of all the participating channels. Let's see how they've each interpreted the theme. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!